Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Leadership of the People's Democratic Party in desperate move to resolve crisis. Factional PDP claim to receive massive support across the country. Federal government asks security agencies to work towards preservation of nation's key assets. And France accuses the Syrian government of chemical attack on Damascus. Do remember we have a number of platforms for you to keep up with all our top stories. There's the website channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. If you're on the go, then visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on an iPad, iPhone or BlackBerry. And you can also download the Channels TV app for Android and Nokia 920 from their respective stores. Well, we can now bring you a bit of perspective on our lead political story. That's the ongoing intrigue in the People's Democratic Party. That was after some governors and other key members of the party staged a walkout at its national convention in Abuja on Saturday. Now, after the walkout, they announced the formation of a new PDP, which they say will right the wrongs of the party. The events which have followed have seen the party's leadership initiate a reconciliation process, offering to investigate the matter.
When some of the delegates, especially some of the governors, appeared here, no one could guess what was on their minds. All seated and expectant, the process annoyed some governors, and here is where they turned to. A new PDP is what they say they have formed. The ways of the Tuka leadership is what they frown at.
Indelible legacies in the annual leadership of PDP. You all know now whether those legacies are intact or they are abused. What we are saying is that with your support, we can do it again. We will rescue PDP. We will take PDP to the level ground. We will take PDP to the dreamland of the founding fathers.
The country is full of frustration, is full of anger, is full of disappointment. Therefore, we have a responsibility to pause, drop back, and see how we can reform our great party.
A rude shock, that's perhaps what the workout of some members of the party turned out to be. It does send some jitters, especially as some have said this is all about who gets the ticket of the PDP to run for president in 2015. Well, it appears it's not a matter that big players can overlook or even toy with. In less than 24 hours, the president and the chairman of the BOT called some of the aggrieved governors for consultations. But the meeting has not yielded the perfect result.
The leadership of the party and the PDP governors met today to discuss the incident that occurred during the PDP special convention on the 31st of August 2013, whereby some state delegations broke out of the convention ground to announce a faction of the party. The meeting was smooth and encouraging, and the discussions will continue on Tuesday with all the aggrieved governors in attendance.
One of the breakaway governors, Abubakar Ahmed of Kwara State, on arriving home, the news of what happened at the seat of power has surely reached his supporters. The matter has caused some sleepless nights and intermittent headaches. Reconciliation is what is on the minds of the embattled Tuko-led leadership.
We are going to communicate the decision and the reasons behind the decisions after tomorrow's meeting. But for now, the issues that you raised and all issues are part of the consultations that are going on amongst the leaders, the elders of the party at the highest level.
Politics is indeed a game of numbers. The scenario that played out on Saturday at the Eagle Square in Abuja surely tells of a very interesting days ahead of a party that boasts of being the biggest on the continent. The big question now is, how badly will this affect the party? I'm Sheung Okimbaloye reporting for Channels Television.
Well, reconciliation efforts may be on, but a Lagos High Court has granted the splinter group of the People's Democratic Party leave to sue the Babanga Tukuru-led National Working Committee of the ruling party. Now, the PDP faction is asking for an order to restrain the National Working Committee from parading themselves as officials of the party. The suit, filed by Mr. Abubakar Baraje and 2 other officials of the new group, is also asking the court to restrain Mr. Tukuru, Mr. Uche Secondus, Mrs. Kema Chikwe, Mr. Olisa Metu, and other officials of the party from parading themselves as officials of the People's Democratic Party. Hearing in the suit has been fixed for September the 9th. Meanwhile, it appears the breakaway faction of the party has also kicked off its secretariat operations. The leadership of the faction, known as the New PDP, says it's serious about efforts at rescuing the party and will not relent until the party is restored. In a statement signed by its National Secretary, Olagunsoye Oyilola, the Baraje faction insists it's received huge support among party members and leaders from all the states. The faction has, however, agreed to honor the leaders of the party, particularly President Goodluck Jonathan and former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who have scheduled a meeting of the party elders for this week. Mr. Oyilola says, quote, "We respect the elders and will be guided by them, even as we stress that we will not abandon the ideals of justice and fairness." Now let's shift focus from the PDP crisis and take a look at what's happening in the opposition, where Senator Chris Ngige has emerged as the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Anambra State. The process of the election was by open ballot in 21 local government areas of the state. There were reports of violence in about 3 wards and non-conduct of elections in about 3 others, owing to the absence of materials. Now, apart from these, the elections were said to be peaceful. Senator Chris Ngige from Anambra Central Senatorial Zone polled 63,255 votes, while Chief Godwin Emezo from Anambra South Senatorial Zone scored 9,564 votes. The former governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, was the chairman of the primary committee. Away from politics now, gunmen suspected to be Fulani herdsmen have attacked Adu village in Kaura local government of Kaduna State, northwest Nigeria, killing at least 8 people and leaving scores of children and women injured. An eyewitness told Channels Television that the gunmen who raided the village in the early hours of Monday also destroyed farmlands and property worth millions of naira. The attack is coming 4 months after gunmen killed over 20 people in the same village and sacked thousands of residents from their ancestral homes. The police commissioner in the state, Mr. Olufemi Adenoike, who confirmed the incident, maintained that 7 persons were killed in the isolated hamlet on Atakar Mountain. He also confirmed the arrest of 5 suspects in connection with the attack. Well, back here in Lagos, as part of efforts to boost security here in the state, 25 brand new security patrol vehicles have been donated to the state government by one of Nigeria's leading telecommunication companies. While receiving the gifts at the government house in Alausa, Governor Fashola says there is a need for greater synergy between the state and local governments on security matters.
I hope that the day will come that the people of this country will understand the necessity for a much more formal participation of state governments and local governments in the management of security. Because we have 108 divisional headquarters in Lagos today, and one of the things that we'll be looking at in the security meeting is how to get patrol vehicles to each one of them.